Hello there everybody, this is Krista and welcome back to Crochet Witch Tarot and welcome Stevie. Is that where you need to stop? Thank you so much. And today I have a response to the tag created by Marlene Teresa, Tarot to the Extreme. I was so excited watching her video. What a good idea. This is so much fun, and so many people have been doing responses, and I am making my way through all of them because I just think this tag is so fantastic. So I had to make my response as soon as possible. It was so much fun to really think about these prompts and pick out my decks. So I think we should just get into it because I'm really excited. I think, are you good, Stevie? You don't feel like walking through the center again? Okay. Alright. So, first category is minimalist versus maximalist. Now, I have these in the wrong order. Okay. So, my most minimalist deck is my Little Monsters Tarot by Peony Archer. Now, I say that. I actually was surprised to find I do have a good number of decks I personally would consider minimalist, but this is my only deck. This is my only tarot I have that's black and white. I do have an oracle deck that's black and white, but it feels like there's more kind of going on in those images, where this is like very pared down to just the characters we're given, which I find to be so much fun. I think that's why this deck works so well for me. Because usually I'm not a black and white deck kind of gal. But, I mean, we get our own little personal monsters. I think that's so fun. I don't know. I love using this deck. The guidebook is also fantastic. And unfortunately, this deck, I believe, is out of print, but you can still get the guidebook on Amazon, and I really would recommend it, even if you don't have this deck. It does refer to the characters in it, but I don't know, I think the takes on a lot of the cards are really interesting. So, this is definitely my most minimalist deck. Now let's take out my most maximalist, and that has to be Mystic Masters by the one and only Danny Mystic. I really love this deck, and it's just, each of the images just has so much going on, but in the best way. And we've got these fun color splotches and textures added, and she stamps in her own words, and I don't know, and like the colors go outside of the lines sometimes. I just think, I mean, this deck is maximalist. It really sings to my little maximalist heart. Because I do consider myself, I am certainly not a minimalist. If you've watched a video where you see my setting that I put myself in, I am certainly not a minimalist. I love the term maximalist. That's a new one for me. I think that word is so much fun. Anyways, I love all the patterns and colors and textures she's added. I kind of want to look at these side by side. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So, let's zoom in a little. Maybe I should stop holding the decks, huh? You can stop looking at my fingers so intensely. So, we've got my most minimalist and my most maximalist deck. I thought I was going to have an easier time finding a maximalist one, but I don't know that I really have anything else that feels truly maximalist. Maybe the Madame Lydia Tarot, but this one, I mean, it just really encompasses that, don't you think? I don't know, I love this one. So, that is the Little Monsters Tarot and Mystic Masters. So next up, we have, oh my gosh, am I going to take the time to put these back in the bags? I should. Let's not make a mess. I won't tie them. Don't worry, I won't take too long. The next prompt is daytime versus nighttime. I thought this was really cool because it really revealed an interesting part of Marlene's practice, where she's got a spread that she does in the mornings and then in the evenings, and she has decks that she really feels, you know, suit those spreads best, if that makes sense. So it's like there's decks that are for sure daytime and some that are for sure nighttime, and I totally get that. I feel like I have a few where they can really kind of bounce around, but I know what I tried to go with was a deck that I use it during the daytime and there's just no shot I'm ever gonna want to pick it up when it's dark outside, and then one that I very rarely will pick up in the daytime. So, enough rambling. My daytime deck is the Victorian Romantic... No, wrong name. Victorian Fairy Tarot. I think with this one, it just, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's set in the nighttime at all, where if I want to kind of commune with fairies in the evening or nighttime, I feel like the Four Hawks really suits that purpose better. And it's got pastels, there's so much, look at the sun in that. There's so much sun depicted, and I don't know, this deck just feels really daytime to me. It's like it's a nice weather deck, don't you think? I'm gonna use this year round for sure, but I can't imagine myself leaning towards this one if I'm pulling cards at night. This feels like, you know what this deck feels like to me? It feels like an early morning, but an early morning where like you could sleep in if you wanted to, but you choose to get up and kind of have a nice morning for yourself, but you don't have really anywhere to go. I don't know. Is that too specific? That's just what this deck makes me feel. Like, oh, I could just imagine a nice snow day where the library gets closed and I'm using this deck to pull in the morning. That sounds fabulous. Wow, that is exciting. Anyways, that is my daytime deck. And my nighttime deck is my Northern Animal Tarot. And I think it's because I do such personal work with this deck, but also specifically this first edition I have, the colors are a bit deeper, and so it feels kind of nighttime. But again, I really do such personal work with this deck and go to it for such, I guess, intensely personal reasons. Is that dramatic? And I tend to do that kind of reading at night, because I don't want to start my day that way, you know? We don't have to dig into things early in the morning. Not necessary. I want to be put in a good mood, you know, in the morning. Where some of this, it's like, I don't want to, if anything heavy comes up, I don't need to carry that throughout my day. We can kind of ponder on it and then sleep on it. Oh, see how that works out? But yes, this really feels like, and it's also just cozy, don't you think? It's a cozy deck. Why are these all turned around? Oh my goodness. I don't read reversals yet. They end up mixed all over the place. I don't know how it happens. I do know how it happens, actually. That's a lie. Because I drop my deck so much. Anyways. So, nighttime. Let's wait. We gotta look at them together. Oh my gosh. Wait, I feel like these paired together would be so much fun. Working with both of these, this would be a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, I am loving this. Okay. I think we need to bring these out to play together. What do you think? Let me know. Should these be like decks of the week or something? I mean, they are such favorites. Something to think about. Anyways, that is my daytime versus... Jeez Louise. Look what I keep doing. Oh my goodness. New hands today. My daytime versus nighttime decks. Now, this next question cracked me up. I don't know why. I just thought it was funny. I think I just wasn't expecting it. And it makes a lot of sense, but I don't know. I love hearing people's thoughts on things like this, but it is your best shuffle versus your worst shuffle. And I love hearing people's worst shuffle and just like why? Like why do you consider it your worst shuffle? I just love the dramatics of it. So, my best shuffle, as of right now, is my Tarot of the Secret Forest. This is a low Scarabeo deck, and they just, it's the size, the shape of the cards. They put it on this really nice, thin cardstock. I don't know. It just shuffles really fantastically. This deck has been really cool to use, too. As you can see, I kind of, it's got the black and white images on the back, and I kind of have shuffled them in all sorts of ways. And so in a sense, I guess I do kind of read this one with reversals. Anyhow, it just, I don't know, it's the cardstock is just nice and thin, but not in a way where it feels like I'm gonna like destroy them or rip them or something. Oh, I guess I should shuffle them, huh? I hope I can do this well. I'm nervous. I am new to riffle shuffling and I can only do it like from the corners. I mean, that was good, right? And then, oh my gosh, this atrocity I have to do. I've been watching so many people and they do the nice, like, riffle into the bridge. I envy that. I really do. I mean, how much more official can you look when you start pulling out moves like that? Okay, that wasn't so great. So, yeah. My best shuffle. Let's give it one more go. We'll give it one more go. Maybe it'll sound nice. Okay, I feel like that. Look at that. Look at that. That shuffled pretty darn nicely if it can focus. Come on. Nice! Best shuffle. Tarot of the Secret Forest. Now we are on to the worst shuffle. And this is a self-imposed worst shuffle. It's my Memento Mori Oracle. And I say self-imposed because it's just because I've got 2 of the expansion packs added onto the regular deck, so it's a chonker. And I just can't shuffle it well. I mean, look how thick that is. I always fumble with it. Hand over hand, I am constantly dropping cards. It's so thick. This you can kind of like riffle half and then half is left just like that, which is kind of just what I do. I realize I could just kind of split the deck into half and then half again, but I don't know. My brain doesn't like that method. I don't know why. So we just kind of try and do this anyway. And then, yeah, that last group is always just kind of left behind. So it's just, I've made it difficult for myself. Could I take one of the expansion packs out or just some of the cards out? I could. Do I want to? No. Because I also like it. This is satisfying. Like, I don't know. It feels like I could do anything. I could do anything. I mean, I can do anything with any deck, I suppose. But this one, I'm like, yes. You could do anything with this. There's endless cards. Anyhow. Those are my best and worst shuffle decks. Now we are moving on to the confronting versus comforting. Where is the box? There it is. And so, what should we start with? I guess confronting is listed first. My most confronting deck at the moment, ATM, is the Tarot of Vampires, which I know. How did I end up with this one? I don't know. I mean, I know. I bought it, but why did I choose to do that? I don't know. I was kind of drawn to the images because I knew they would be confronting for me, and I have proven myself right. Oh my goodness. I don't like them. I do not like these images. Ugh. Actually, that's pretty cool. That's okay. But like this, oh, look at all the blood. The blood. I don't like the blood. And like, happening? But it's one that after I watched endless walkthroughs and then just got it in my hands myself, I realized I don't like the images for a reason. And for a reason of like, okay, I need to work through this. This kind of like instant gut reaction to images like this is something I need to kind of, I need to work with this kind of imagery, and I just don't have that with my other decks because I avoid it. So it's really confronting to me in that way where I know the deck is kind of about the book. I don't use it. It's too many pages, it's too many words. I cannot focus on it. I wish I could. I cannot. I get one paragraph in and I'm like, I need to skip to the end. What's the main message here? Anyways, so I just read it like a Smith-Waite. Because for me, it's all about the images and how the feelings that these images evoke for me. It's very confronting. Oh, I mean, come on. What is happening? They're drinking blood. Oh my goodness. I mean, that makes sense. They're vampires. I know. What did I expect? I feel like I'm gonna grow to like, this is gonna become endearing to me someday. I feel it in my bones. We are not there yet. But yes, that is for sure my most confronting deck. We'll bring it back out to compare. And my most comforting deck is my totally unofficial Adventure Time Tarot. And I feel like I've talked about this a million times. I've got an Adventure Time patch coming so I can make a bag for this deck. I kind of love the box though. I don't know, part of me is like, do I really want to make a bag for it? I do. I think the patch is going to be a lot of fun, but I do love the box. Anyways, I've talked about this deck a bunch and why it is so comforting to me. It's just pretty much because this is my comfort show. So I pull from this deck constantly because I know the characters very well. So I can really make a lot of connections in that way. So I can pull in my tarot knowledge, pull in what I know from the characters of this show, and also, you know, have that element of, I watch the show for comfort. I've seen it so many times, and it's because it's just something I put on repeat as a comfort thing. And I love it. I love the show, and I will keep on doing that. And I'm so excited. It's like merging my two favorite things, tarot and Adventure Time. So every time I pull this one out, it just feels like instantly the deck knew me, but it's just because I know these characters so incredibly well that I know exactly what's going on in these cards and like why Catherine Hillier chose these characters for the cards, which is so much fun. She did such a good job. So anytime I feel like I need comfort, I pull out this deck. And actually, okay, let's put them next to each other, because I have done readings where I use both. You know, I use this kind of for some shadow work basically, and then I always follow it up with a deck like this, but a lot of time it has been this deck to kind of, you know, bring me back to a comfortable space in order to digest what we're working through. I just find that works best for me. Oh my goodness. Anyways, I kind of feel like they look cool together though, don't you think? I don't know. Something about it I think looks kind of fun together. So yes, my most confronting, I love Lemongrab. He might be my favorite character. My most confronting and my most comforting deck. Okay. Oh, I really like the next prompt. Let me just get my things back in their homes. Okay. So, the next prompt is a deck you can use every day versus a deck you can only use every once in a while. Did I bring the pile over? I did. Okay, I'm prepared. So, for this, I thought instantly, my brain popped to the oracles I love to use and like actual practices I do with them, where one is every day and the other is only once a week. So, my everyday deck is my Fairies Oracle. I pretty much pull from this every day as part of my fairy practice. Kind of like my guide for the day, you could say. But I like to keep in contact with the fairies or land spirits around here, and this deck just feels really connected to that, and it feels like a good channel to do that through. And I just love it. I love this deck. So this is one I pull from every day, and based on whatever card I get, it kind of guides me to something I need to think about, and I'll pull tarot cards from there. Usually from Hush Tarot, or, oh my gosh, what's it called? The Woods one. Into the Wild. No, Wildwood. The Wildwood Tarot. And it's just been such a good practice. I just really feel like it's another one. I just feel like I know these characters and these fairies. So that is my everyday deck. My every once in a while, which is a deck I pull from once a week, and then the card sits on my altar to kind of, you know, mull over as my theme, is the Weaver's Oracle. So we gotta zoom out. Oop, that's in. Come on, you could do it. Okay, so the reason I say this is kind of an every once in a while is because each of these cards is just, it's a lot to take in. There's a pretty, you know, there's a good 2 pages to read for each card. I don't think they're necessarily hard to understand, but it really leaves you with something pretty significant to ponder. And so I don't think I could use this as like a daily pull kind of deck. I think it would just be too much, and I don't think I would get what I do out of it thinking about it for longer. So this is one. Monday is kind of my reset day, so I pull a card from this deck, and I also pull one card from the Witch's Wisdom Tarot as a way to kind of guide my thoughts of these cards. And yeah, I mean, this deck is just really cool. It does lean into that crone energy, which I don't relate to at the current moment. But I got a really cool idea from Andy to almost read the messages of these cards and think of myself as almost like an apprentice to these crone energies of like, okay, this is kind of what I'm building up to. What advice can I take from them? And I just thought that was genius. I want to see these next to each other too. I think that's gonna be cool. Right? Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, these look cool next to each other. Interesting. So, this is my everyday deck and my every once in a while deck. Next, ooh, I was nervous about this next question. I don't know, I had a really hard time picking one out. It is the overrated versus underrated, and I don't usually like answering these questions because I don't know, I just feel bad. And I don't really like find myself thinking in that way usually because I don't know, I guess I get caught up in thinking like, well, like someone really put themselves out there by putting their art, even if it's a mass market deck, you're putting yourself out there by putting your art or your words or both out into the world for other people to use as a divination tool. Like, how huge is that? That's huge. And so, even if something is not for me, or something's really popular and it's not for me, I don't wanna think of it necessarily as overrated. I don't know. I think I'm thinking about it way too hard. It's not that serious. It's not that serious, Krista. Come on. You picked one out. Just show it. So, my overrated deck of choice is my combined herbiary and bestiary. And I can't decide if the reason I picked this is because I feel like there was a lot of hype around these cards initially, rightfully so, because they came out on this beautiful cardstock instead of the papery ones you got with the book. And I do think, like, there are some really great messages in these cards. But it's just not one I'm drawn to use. And I don't know. This instinctually felt like the one I should pick for this. Even though, like, I do think these are beautiful cards. Okay, I think my thing with it is that, I think they're overrated in the sense of that it really kind of, markets itself as a way of, like, you can kind of piece the decks together. They've got the same backs, and I don't think all of the messages differentiate enough to truly do that. I think maybe what I need to do is go through these cards and pick out the ones that feel similar to me and just choose one. Or maybe I just separate them out and, like, one is for me and one, like, the other isn't. I don't really know. This is also a personal thing, as you can see. But I feel like if it's gonna market itself that way, then it's like each of the decks, I would want them to have keywords and meanings that really feel different. So that if I do go and combine decks, it really feels like I'm getting... Gosh darn it. My camera died. We had one question left, too. Oh, and I don't remember what I was saying. I should have written down my last sentence or something. But overrated. This is my overrated deck. Why? Because... I don't remember. Oh, yeah, I feel like as singular decks, okay, that's my opinion. As singular decks, I think they are fantastic. But when they get mixed together, I think the way to go is to kind of, I mean, or this is what I think I need to do, is to sort through and take notice to which ones seem similar. I think that's where my overrated feeling is coming from, is because there are some cards between the two decks I've combined that feel similar, and the messages feel similar. Okay, enough on that. Now onto my underrated deck. And that is... Where'd it go? Oh. My Witch's Familiar Oracle. I know it's cheesy. I know it. But, and yeah, I know. I mean, it's a very specific taste. I would not be inclined to say this is the prettiest thing in the whole world. That's my opinion. But the readings I've had with this deck have been amazing. The guidebook is amazing, and it's got keywords that are so different from anything else I have. Conscientious, I mean, come on. Disguise, potency. I mean, it's just a really interesting deck. It's very different. Again, I think it has to do with those keywords and the guidebook, really. Dexterity. Gosh, I just think it's so interesting. And I've not seen this deck talked about, and, you know, fair. It's a very, it's a specific taste. That's just how I'm gonna word it. I don't even know what I don't know what makes me love this so much, but I do. I really do. It reads so amazingly well. I just feel like I was meant to have this Weird little cheesy deck. But in the best ways. Again, whoever created this deck, they wrote so well in this guidebook and picked such cool keywords. They looked at these animals and mythological creatures so differently. I think that's why it's underrated to me. Because I don't see people using it, and I understand why you would not be drawn to this. Although I feel like that it's kind of fun and witchy looking. I don't know. I think it's kind of fun. But I get it. But my recommendation is to try it. So, those are my overrated versus underrated decks. And we've got one more category here, and that is our light work deck versus shadow work deck. So, my personal way of looking at light work is to kind of see it as, I don't know. I look at it as when I'm pulling cards as kind of a way to uplift. That's what I'll say. That's kind of how I see light working. If I'm looking at it as the opposite of shadow work, not that I'm not trying to like look into things, but I'm not looking for such an intense reading. So, what I would consider my light work deck is the Boo Tarot. Because this is just one where I feel like you just can't be in a bad mood using it. Not that shadow work is a bad mood, but I mean you can't, what am I trying to say? I feel like because these ghosts are so cute, it would be hard for me to be in that kind of zone. Like it's a light space they're in, which is funny because they're ghosts, but I think it's just the colors and all the white space and the glitter. And this really does read so well. I guess I should have thought about my definition of light work. before just running into this question. But this felt right. So I think I just thought, okay, opposite of shadow work. And not that this can't bring up sort of those kinds of topics, but I suppose emotionally it doesn't really bring me to any sort of darker space isn't the right term, but you know those like okay, maybe I should show the shadow work deck because it's just I have certain decks where it's like it brings me into that really like serious kind of mood. And I think the way I see light work is I always want to be, in a sense, digging into something in some way. So I suppose like doing shadow work a lot of the time, because that's why I use the tarot. So the way I see light work is that I'm just kind of having fun with it and doing it in a lighthearted way, and you know, not necessarily having to take it so seriously. And what better way than to use cute sparkly ghosts, you know? And so my shadow work deck is one that it brings me to a bit of a more serious headspace, and that is the Terra Volatile. And this deck has some, you know, kind of heavy imagery, but I think just even the tone of the deck is, you know, it's not really whimsical in any way. Gosh darn it. The camera died again, because I can't be patient. Anyway, so this deck is a bit deeper. Let's zoom back in. I am disheveled. It feels like it brings me personally to a more serious place. Not that I don't do serious readings with the Boo Tarot, I do, but it fits me into my comfort zone of playful and fun, where this one pulls me out of that a little bit when I really need to do that deeper work. Let's see them together. Oh my gosh, that's kind of fun. So yes, this is my light work versus shadow work deck. So, despite all my malfunctions, I hope you all enjoyed this video. This was such a fun tag to do. I'm really excited to see what else Marlene puts out. She obviously is a very creative person because this tag is super cool. But other than that, let me not have my camera die again. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week.